Hello, welcome to More Yoga with me, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're doing well, keeping cool, or reveling in the heat, whatever is whatever is your bag these days. So today we're going to work a little bit into the upper back, shoulders, um, the full back, but particularly upper back and shoulders. And honestly, that's going to take up the full half an hour. So if you're comfortable, let's start lying down on the floor. By all means, if that's not where you want to start, then feel free to start wherever you want to. And depending on how your day has been, you might feel like you need to get some wheels out or move around a little bit to find a comfortable position on the floor. Maybe you're ready to just completely relax and melt into the mat. Once you've found, a nice place that brings you ease, that brings you stillness, for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose and exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. And then continue breathing however you need to, whether that's through your nose or your mouth. Notice how your breath is flowing. If it feels really open and spacious, then acknowledge that for whatever it's worth. Maybe you notice some sticky or choppy spots along the way, in which case you could gently try to lengthen through those parts of the breath just to smooth it out a little bit more. And thoughts may come and go. The key is to acknowledge whatever thought you might be having without judgment, but let it go. Let it drift by you like leaves on the wind. Last couple breaths here. And when you feel ready, start to bring a little bit of movement back into your body. Whatever way feels best for you to wake up. Wiggle of the fingertips or toes, or gentle rock of your head from side to side. Or maybe a full body morning stretch. Until you feel ready to draw both knees into your chest and take a little rock from side to side. And then pause in the center. Option 1 is just to stay here. The next option is to interlace your hands atop of your shins, and that sort of deepens the compression on the front of the hip. But you also might start to feel this starting to neutralize and release into the spine, particularly the lumbar spine. Option to stay here, or keeping tension out of your neck and shoulders, start to curl your nose toward your knees. Last option is to start to press your shins up to the sky to get even more flexion through the spine, a little bit more release. And then slowly release back down, shake out your arms and your legs, and then take your feet mat width apart And a little windshield wiper from side to side. With the knees bent, I should have said. The next time your knees are over to the left, pause there. This is a fantastic place to stay. Maybe you choose to hook the left ankle over top of the right knee, deepening sort of the release on that right hip. You could stay here, you could squeeze the bum on the right side. That'll lift the hip up, but also give you a little bit more of an active release, also a little bit more support for that joint. And you could reach your right arm back into the right. As much as we want to open up to the back line of the body today, we should also balance it off with the front. Last breath here. All right, and then unhook your ankle if it's hooked, and then inhale a couple windshield wipers. And the next time your knees are to the right, pause there. Again, this might be enough. Different side can be a totally different experience. If you want to deepen it, then maybe cross the right ankle over top of the left thigh. Maybe this feels like enough for you. Or maybe you squeeze the bum on the left side to lift the hip up a little bit more and reach the left arm back into the left. If at any point this feels too gnarly on your knees, then keep the legs uncrossed or unhooked. All right. And then unhook the legs. Inhale, come back to center. Little rock from side to side. And then start to draw your knees toward you. Again. From here, cross your right thigh over top of your left. Now, this might be a touch too much core work for you, in which case you could just bring your left foot to the floor and keep your legs crossed. Otherwise, keep the legs hovering. And then cross your right arm underneath the left and grab the back of your shoulders here. Option 1 is to stay here. Option 2 is to take some sort of eagle bind with the forearms, but allow the hands to rest on your forehead. So it's a bit more passive. Press the low back into the floor. And then on your exhale, think of curling your elbows toward your knees. Waking up the core. One more breath here. And then slowly release back to the floor. Unwind your arms, unwind your legs, shake them out. And then we'll switch sides. Cross the left thigh over top of the right. You might keep that right foot on the floor, or maybe you de-weight the legs and draw them toward you. Little draw of belly button to spine. And then sweep the left arm under the right. You could grab the backs, the shoulders, or some sort of eagle bind here, but allow the hands to rest on your forehead. Keep pressing the low back into the floor. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you curl your elbows toward your knees. It can be trembly, right? It's a bit of work here. Last couple breaths. And then slowly release down to the floor, unwind, shake everything out. You might feel awesome rocking and rolling up and down your spine here, shoulder blades to sit bones. If you'd like to, you might just roll to one side instead, and then press yourself up to hands and knees. Eventually setting up with knees underneath hips. Toes can be tucked or untucked behind you, and then hands outer shoulder width apart or wider. On your inhale, lift your tailbone, hollow through the lower back, broaden through your collarbones. And then exhale, tuck your tailbone under, round through your spine. Really press the floor away. Inhale to dip the belly. And exhale to round through the spine. So a few more of these cat and cow undulations on your own time, on your own breath. You might add some other movement here, whether it's sending the hips further back towards your heels or a little wag of the tail from side to side. You might draw big barrel rolls through the chest and shoulders. Maybe you slept weird on your body last night and there's some sort of kink in the back or neck that you want to get rid of. Last couple breaths here. And then slowly come back to center. All right, On your inhale, cross your right hand in front of your left. Now, it could be quite close in. Try not to cross it all the way over to the left. It's a slightly different release. Or it might be further forward. With your toes tucked on your exhale, shift your hips back and then bow down. Then you might stay up high here on your hands, or you might come down to a forearm. It gives you a little bit more support. You could wag your tail from side to side, see if there's another angle. That really helps you get into that long line on the left side of the body, from left pinky finger all the way up the arm and down the back to the hip. Last breath here. And then inhale, press yourself back up to center, a little wiggle or shake or cat and cow. And then we'll switch sides. Left hand crosses in front of the right. Again, it might be close in, it might be further away. It sort of depends on the length of your arms to your torso. And then exhale, shift your hips back. Again, this might be where you want to stay. Maybe you come down lower. Maybe you get that little wag of the tail from side to side. But really, hopefully, digging into that release on the left side of the body. I say digging, that sounds a bit aggressive. How about inquiring? Diving into even? Last breath here. And then inhale, press yourself back up to center, little wiggle or shake or cat and cow. And then hands spread nice and wide, tuck your toes, exhale, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. By all means, if down dog isn't where you want to be today, then stay on hands and knees and continue moving through cat and cow. Otherwise, join me. You might pedal your heels toward the floor, bending one knee and then the other. Think of pressing the floor away from you with your hands a little bit more as you hug the upper arm bones toward each other. So giving yourself lots of support here without crunching into the neck or the back. Last breath here. Bend your knees, look forward, exhale, walk, step, or hop to the top edge of your mat, standing forward fold. If you want a little bit more support today, rest your elbows on your knees or thighs, or maybe you bring hands to blocks. Maybe you want more traction through the spine. You can clasp opposite elbows with hands. You could sway a little bit from side to side. Or maybe you're totally still. Check in with your knees though. Make sure they're not knocking, so they're not caving into the center. Ever so slightly, start to track them out toward the baby toe edges of the feet. You'll feel your glutes fire up just a little bit as you do this. And then also make sure that your knees are at least micro bent, maybe even deeply bent, but ideally not locked out and certainly not hyperextended. Last couple breaths here. And then release your arms with fingertips to your shins or blocks or the earth. Inhale, little partway lift, belly button to spine. Exhale, let it all go. Couple more, just like that. And then head heavy, arms heavy. Slowly start to roll up to standing, one vertebra at a time. As slowly as you need to go, until eventually you come all the way up to standing. A couple loops of your shoulders, up, back, and down. A little wiggle, noodle, or shake out. All right, hands to hips. Let's get some easy hip circles. First one direction, and then the other. Okay, grab your right wrist, bend your knees, and then pull the wrist all the way over to the left, round through the spine. Getting into that right side of the back. And then inhale, come back up to center. Let's go the opposite side. Pull the left wrist this time over to the right. Bend your knees, round through the spine. We're getting a lot of a similar stretch, but in different angles, different positions today. So hopefully you can really release and then come back up to center. This time, inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Grab hold of the right wrist with the left hand, lift a little bit taller, and then exhale over to the left, but send your hips to the right. So some people like to have their weight firmly planted on both feet. For this side bend, I really like to send my weight way over to the right foot. Maybe you can even de-weight that left leg or cross it in front or behind the supporting leg to anchor into the stretch a little bit more. And then inhale back to center, shake out the arms, get the blood flow back. And then inhale up to the sky again. This time grab hold of the left wrist, lift nice and tall. And then exhale over to the right, hips to the left. Rather than rounding like we did that the first time, think of opening that top armpit up to the sky a little bit more. Anything you want to do with that right leg, keep breathing. That's as much of a cue for me as it is for you. And then on your inhale, come back to center, shake it all out. Feet hip width apart again, a little buoyancy in your knees. Bring your palms to your pelvis. Wrap the elbows, the shoulder blades toward each other, and then lift your heart up to the sky. Now this might be enough of an opening for you today. If you'd like a little bit more, bend the knees a touch more, press the hips forward, squeeze the bum. Imagine that you're creating a little platform with the shoulder blades to lift the heart up higher and then maybe back. Try not to lift the chin so the back of the neck stays long here. Really squeeze the bum. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Shake out your arms. All right, so we did eagle lying down in sort of a crunch position. Let's try just the upper body. Don't worry about the legs today. Standing. So inhale, your arms or your wings wide. As you exhale, sweep your right arm under your left. You might grab the backs of the shoulders or some sort of bind or eagle variation. This time, think of lifting the elbows high as you glide the shoulder blades down your back. And then rather than having the hands on the forehead, can you think of drawing them away from you? Now, if you're just grabbing the backs of the shoulders, that's awesome too. Elbows high, shoulder blades down. A few more breaths here. Right, only going as far as you can without pain. And then bend your knees. Exhale, pull your elbows forward, round through your spine. Now you might stay up high and get into the upper back here, or you might round forward a little bit more if you're tighter, more in mid back or low back. I'm not looking for good posture here. I'm looking for a nice release through the rhomboids, the trapezoid, or trapezius rather, and the lats. All right, inhale, slowly come back up. Unfurl your wings. Maybe you fly. No, I'm just joking. Shake it out a little bit. I got to keep it entertaining for myself, right? I record these and send them out into the void. So I don't know if I'm having fun. Hopefully you are. Okay, inhale your arms wide. This time, sweep the left arm under the right. Now it's subtle, but there is a difference from one side to the other, particularly if you have any weird rotator cuff stuff going on. Maybe this is enough for you. Maybe you bring the forearms together or an eagle bind. And then lift the elbows, glide the shoulder blades down the back, and then peel the hands away from your face as much as you can. It just gets deeper into the neck. Little drop, belly bend to spine, little micro bend on those knees. Last couple of breaths here. All right, bend your knees, tuck your tailbone under, pull your elbows forward. You might stay up high, you might round a little bit further forward. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Open up your wings again. Shake it out. Little twist or sway from side to side. Of course, hit the bookcase. I've been doing this for over a year. You think I know how to set up in such a way that I don't have to whack my bookcase every time. Shake it out. All right. Come on back to the top edge of your mat. Feet hip width apart-ish. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Exhale, melt to the earth. Forward fold. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, let it all go. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky again. And exhale, hands to prayer. Same thing. Inhale to the sky. Exhale, melt to the earth. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to prayer. Last time. Inhale, high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. And exhale, hands to prayer. Couple breaths here, either hands in prayer or by your side. Feel whatever you feel. Notice whatever you notice. And then shake it out a little bit. Let's get into the neck a little bit before we come down to the floor. So reach your right arm behind you, and then maybe you can clasp the left arm. No, wait. Yeah, let's, they both feel really good to me. Which one are we gonna do? Who knows? So clasp the left arm and then drag the left arm back behind you. Now you could even, if you wanted to, grab the wrist on the left arm or palms clasped. So whatever feels good here. And then bring your right ear to your shoulder. Yeah, there we go, right? So now you're getting that nice opening, hopefully nice through the left side of the neck, maybe even in the chest, depending on, how tight you've been, what you've been up to. Yeah, there's lots of different ways you can do this. And then keeping that lateral flexion, rotate your nose toward your shoulder. So you're still getting the stretch on the left side, but it's a little bit more posterior. It's a little bit more to the back. If these binds on the arms don't work, you could always just reach the left fingertips away and bring a hand to the right, or right hand to the head if you wish. Okay, release your arms, bring your chin to your chest, couple little half moon circles, and then shake it out. Let's switch sides. I know that was confusing. So bring your right wrist over to the left this time, or you could grab the forearm, or you might grab your palms and bring them to the left side. Excuse me, from here, bring your left ear to your shoulder. However you want to bind or not. Maybe you reach your right fingertips away from you. Maybe you add the weight of the left hand to your head. And then rotate your nose toward your shoulder. Tuck your chin under a little bit more. And then gently release chin to chest. A couple little half moon circles or little shoulder roll. And then let's inhale, sweep up to the sky. Exhale, melt to the earth. Forward fold. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, little partway lift. And exhale, let it all go. Bend your knees. Plant your hands enough your palms can come flat. And then step back to hands and knees. And then shift your hips on one side and swing your legs forward into a seated position. Now, if you're like me and you're on hardwood, turn so that you can have your feet off of the mat, especially if your mat is really grippy or sticky. If you don't worry about it. It's all good. Okay, So let's get one last stretch into the back line of the body. Tuck your right shin in out of the way. Just needs to be out of the way. And then bend your left knee. Come onto the heel of that left foot. Take your right hand to the outside edge of that left foot. And then round through the spine. Puff through the spine. Already you might be feeling something on the right shoulder blade. You could press your left fingertips away from you on the floor to really round through that right side even more. Maybe you have tension further down the back, in which case, start to slide your heel away from you. And then you might get more into low back, or even find a nice spot that's sort of in between, or rather, the entire length of the spine. This isn't really a yoga pose, it's just something I invented when I was really tight one day. And then slowly inhale, release, shake it out a little bit. Whew, hopefully that feels great, because we're going to do it on the other side. So tuck your left shin in, bend the right leg, and then left hand comes to the outside edge of that right foot. Right fingertips out to the side, and then round through the spine. Different side has different tightnesses, right? Different strengths. So maybe you stay up higher on this side, maybe you slide your heel further away. A few more breaths here. And then slowly release. Come back up to seated, shake it out a little bit, and then make your way down onto your back. You might do a Pilates style roll down, tucking the tailbone under. You could take the next 10 minutes to come down if you want to, or you might use your hands or forearms, but eventually making your way onto your back. Once you're down, hug your knees into your chest and take a little rock from side to side. If you've been coming to my classes for a while, you know I like to end with a twist if we have time. So take your right arm out to the side, maybe shift your hips right a little bit to start with, and then exhale, lower the knees to the left. You can take any variation of twist that you like to, whether the knees are stacked, legs could be crossed, a single leg twist. You could always bring a block underneath your knees or between them to give yourself a little bit more support. I say block, it could be a pillow, it could be a folded up towel. Super normal for a shoulder blade, a knee, or both to be lifted here off the earth. Last couple breaths here. And on your inhale, slowly unwind. Come back to center, reset your pelvis and your spine. Maybe you shift your hips left a little bit, left arm out to the side. Exhale, lower your knees to the right. Again, this can be as gentle or as deep as you need today. Last few breaths here. And then on your inhale, return to center. If there's anything else you feel like you need before your rest, a posture meditation, please feel free to take it. Otherwise, start to make your way into your final resting pose. You could be flat on your back, legs bent or straight. You could rest on your side or in child's pose or a seated meditation. And there's no rush to get there. But once you have found your pose of rest for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose and exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. With each exhale, let your body melt a little bit deeper into the earth. And let go of all breath control. Let go of any last muscle gripping or tension, particularly in the face or the jaw. And return your focus to your breath. Take a moment to thank yourself for coming here today, for your wonderful body, for moving and breathing for you. Stay here longer if you can, 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.